Hey Gooners, how are we? Welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner for our live watch-along of Girona versus Arsenal in the UEFA Champions League. We're going to take you through the entire game. We're going to keep an eye on what's going on elsewhere across the Champions League this evening because there is lots and lots of football taking place tonight with lots of implications. I've not always been convinced by this Champions League format, if I'm being completely honest with you guys and transparent with you guys. But I do think what we've got is a final round of matches with a lot of jeopardy. And ultimately, I guess that's what UEFA were trying to achieve when they changed the format. They didn't want there to be lots of dead rubbers towards the end of the group stage. And they have succeeded in that. That's fair to say. So on tonight's stream, as I say, you're not going to miss a kick of Girona versus Arsenal. We'll also keep you up to speed with what's going on everywhere else. I'll take some of your questions and thoughts throughout the game as well. We're going to react to the team news in just a moment or so as well. We haven't done a watch along in such a long time. I just haven't been able to. Work commitments often prevent me from being able to do so. I'm not out in Catalonia tonight. I am sitting in the man cave with a nice cup of green tea. In the warm, waiting to get my teeth stuck into this one. So I thought I'd share the stream with you guys and we can watch it together. Essentially, we can have some conversations along the way. We can also react to the Ollie Watkins news as well. But if you want some more raw reaction, you can go back on the channel to the episode that we dropped, half an hour ago, in which I was reacting to that news, maybe just an hour or so after it broke. So yeah, we'll touch on the Ollie Watkins stuff, but let's begin by bringing you up to speed with the team news. The Gunners are in action tonight in Girona, and their team looks like this. Neto is in goal. He makes his Arsenal debut, having joined from Bournemouth. David Raya is not fit to play. That was confirmed by Mikel Arteta in one of the TV interviews. We really can't catch a break this season, can we, when it comes to injuries? Thomas Partey, Jakub Kivior, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Ricardo Calafiori make up the back four for Mikel Arteta's side. And then in the midfield, we've got Martin Odegaard, who returns from illness, Jorginho, and Mikel Merino. Ethan Nwaneri will start from the right-hand side. Raheem Sterling will operate for the Gunners from the left. And Leandro Trossard will lead the line for the Arsenal. On the bench tonight, Nathan Butler-Oyedeji, who made his Champions League debut just the other week in the last game against Dinamo Zagreb, coming off the bench very, very late. Kai Havertz is there. Tommy Setford is there as our backup goalkeeper. Miles Lewis-Skelly, Gabriel Martinelli, Ulad Mahand, Porter, Rice, Saliba, Tierney, Timber, and Zinchenko. They make up the rest of the back line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the match clock up on the screen when the game starts for all of you in the chat watching and asking and wondering what minute I'm on, etc., etc. It will be the one from the BBC website because I'm not tech savvy enough to figure out how people do those fancy clocks. But what I will say is that I'm not watching the game on any questionable stream. I'm watching it live on TNT Sports here in the UK. So I'll pretty much be bang on with the BBC timer. So if you can sync your pictures up to that one, then we should be good. And we should be as in sync as possible. Going to bring you a loose commentary of the game. And of course, we'll discuss all the talking points as we work our way through the evening. If we have a quick look at the Girona side, lining up against us tonight, Lopez is in goal. Martinez, Juanpe, and Jakubishvili, along with Francis, make up the back four. Romeo and Martin are the two holding midfielders. Tsihankov and Danjuma will play in the wide positions. Asprilla will operate behind Ruiz, who leads the line. Michel Sanchez's side out of the competition, cannot progress. They've had a torrid time in the Champions League this season, and they've not obviously been able to live up to the heights they hit last season when it comes to La Liga either. Understandable given how many key and important players they lost. If we have a look then at how the Champions League table stands right now, we can't catch Liverpool, but we could still potentially finish second. Barcelona just a couple of points ahead of us, but we'd need their result to go our way as well. So the Gunners in a really comfortable position. Look, you can see down in ninth, that Aston Villa could potentially catch us in terms of points. So could Monaco, so could Feyenoord, so could Lille, and so called Brest. So defeat for us could be damaging, but we still have, thankfully, that little bit of leeway because our goal difference is far superior to that of all of the other teams that we've just mentioned. Arsenal have a goal difference of 12, whereas Aston Villa, who are best positioned to make it into the top 8, they have a goal difference of 5. So it will take a pretty horrible set of circumstances tonight for Arsenal to crash out of the top 8 and end up dropping into the playoff round. We can't fall any lower than the playoffs, though. So we are guaranteed to stay in the Champions League beyond tonight. It's just whether or not we can avoid that playoff round, which I can imagine, if you're on the same page as me, we're all desperate to do. Let's have a look then at some of the other games going on tonight as well, because as I said, there are lots. Aston Villa take on Celtic. Aston Villa hoping to win and hoping for something to go their way to see them sneak back into the top 8. Barcelona take on Atalanta. Leverkusen face Sparta Prague. Bayern Munich take on Slovan. Dortmund face Shakhtar Donetsk. Brest take on Real Madrid. Dinamo Zagreb are hosting AC Milan. Of course, we're away at Girona. Inter take on Monaco. Juventus face Benfica. Lille take on Feyenoord. City take on Club Brugge in what's a must-win for Pep Guardiola's side. PSV Eindhoven face Liverpool at the Philips Stadion. RB Salzburg are at home to Atletico Madrid. Sporting take on Bologna. Sturm Graz take on Leipzig. Stuttgart face PSG. And Young Boys take on Red Star Belgrade. And all of those games, because it's the final round, will be taking place simultaneously. So that league table that I've shown you, it is going to be chopping and it is going to be changing all night. And we're going to keep you up to speed with that, whilst, of course, our focus is here on the game between Girona and the Arsenal. Should we talk a little bit about Ollie Watkins as we wait for kickoff? We're around about 10 minutes out now. Ollie Watkins, the subject of an Arsenal offer of £60 million that's been rejected instantly by Aston Villa. Lots of suggestions that Aston Villa are upset with Arsenal because of the timing of this bid. Now, they might be upset that Arsenal have decided to show their hand or show their interest in their star striker, essentially, late on in the window. But apparently, reports, and Tom Canton's just put this out as well as a couple of others, reports suggest that rumors that this bid went in today are well off the mark. And actually, this offer was made a little while ago. So it's not something that's just happened. It's not something that's taken place earlier today. It's probably something that happened a few days ago. And so, yeah, we'll see how that develops over the coming days. Look, initial thoughts are quite positive. I like Ollie Watkins. I think he's a really, really good player. And I think if Arsenal have the opportunity to bring in a striker of that quality, that could be the needle mover, couldn't it? And it's interesting because I found some of the reaction to this all a little bit strange. The same people that normally bang on about the club not showing ambition and who will tell you it's not our money, why do we care when we're talking about price tags, etc., are now sitting there going, £60 million for a 29-year-old? And it's just all so hypocritical, isn't it? Look, do I think that in an ideal world you pay north of £60 million for a 29-year-old? No. Worth noting that Ollie Watkins only turned 29 a few days ago, though, or not a few days, a few weeks ago, I should say. And so, it's not like he's 29 going on 30. He's literally just turned 29. And I think you can get a few good seasons out of Ollie Watkins. So I'm not too concerned about that, if I'm being honest with you. I've got to the point where I'm kind of like, well, who cares? Like, just go and do it. Just go and do the right thing. Just go and do what's going to make a difference to the team. Is it the right thing in the long term? Maybe not. Is there a more responsible way of spending £60 million? Is there someone out there that could be that long-term investment? Maybe, but then you'd be taking a risk. I don't think if you sign Ollie Watkins, you're taking much risk. I know you're talking about the age, and I know that's where I guess the risk element comes in. But in terms of what I expect him to produce and how successful I would expect him to be at Arsenal, I don't really see it as a major problem. I got to be honest with you. So I'm all for, if Arsenal can get this deal done, Ollie Watkins coming in. The question, I suppose, is how much is it going to cost? That's the big question. How much is it going to cost? And And can we make it happen? Can between ourselves and Aston Villa, can we do this deal? We are going to find out, aren't we, over the course of the next few days. Not long to go in this transfer window. But our focus tonight is the game at the Estadi Municipal de Montilivi between Girona and Arsenal. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock, around about 8 minutes until we get started. If you're watching us on YouTube, please do leave us a like, guys. It really, really, really does help, and share it. Share it to everyone that you know. Let's get as many people on this live stream as we can throughout the night. I'll be reacting to your thoughts, your comments. I'll be bringing you, as I said, a loose commentary of the game. Walking you through it all. For those of you that are watching on TV, try and sync up with us as best as you can. For those of you, though, that are unable to watch the game, I hope our coverage will help. Big thank you to Jack Vieira in the live chat, who says, good to see you back on the Watchalong. It's been a while. Thank you so much, mate. Really, really do appreciate your kind words and your very, very kind donation to the channel. Really, really do appreciate it. Remember, a like doesn't cost a thing, but they really, really do help. So smash that like button. Also subscribe to the channel if you're brand spanking new and haven't done so already. We'll try and bring you as many of these as work allows me to. And on top of that, if you want to support us that little bit further, if you want to go one extra, head over to patreon.com / Chronicles AFC, and you can sign up to our Chronicles of Aguna Patreon page, and we'll be bringing you some instant reaction to the game tonight on our match day reaction podcast over on Patreon. So that'll be with you a little bit later on as well. Should we get some predictions? Should we get some predictions in the live chat? We know the teams now. We know the lineups. I'll just quickly run you through that Arsenal side once again. The Arsenal side that is due to face Girona in less than, 6 minutes time now. The Gunners line up as follows. In goal, it's Neto, Partey, Kivior, Gabriel, and Calafiori make up the back four. Odegaard, Jorginho, and Marino in the midfield. Nwaneri, Trossard, and Sterling make up the rest of the 11. For the hosts, it's Lopez in goal, Martinez, Juanpe, Jakobishvili, and Francis are the back four. Romeo and Martin sit in the midfield, and then it's Tsiankov, Aspria, and Danjuma in behind Ruiz. What have we got then in terms of your predictions? Charlton Ronald has gone with a 1-1 draw. Hacker has gone with 1-1. Barney's gone with 1-0. Is that to the Arsenal or to them? Steve Stone has gone for 2-1 to the Arsenal. Love and Ethan Brace. And DJ Ashby fancies us to win by 3 goals to 0. Now that is a bold prediction. I like that. I really, really do. Really, really do. Kickoff, as I say, just a few moments away. We are nearly there. Where the scene is set. You can see the fans inside the stadium have taken up their positions now. The two sides are in the tunnel, which means it's time for us to add our crowd effects just to give it that little bit more of an authentic experience. Here we go. So you should be able to hear that coming through ever so faintly now. The two sides in the tunnel. Arsenal, of course, in their black away strip. And you've got Girona, who are wearing their white tracksuits at the moment. They are ready to go. Match officials tonight. The referee is Maurizio Mariani. Daniele Schifi is the VAR. Daniele Bindoni and Alberto Tegoni are the two linesmen. Daniele Doveri is the fourth official, and the assistant VAR is Valerio Marini. So the two teams almost ready to get out onto the pitch, get out onto the field, and hopefully deliver us an exciting game. Here we go. The two teams making their way out. It's Arsenal taking on Girona in the Champions League, with the Gunners looking to get the best possible finish that they can in this competition, hopefully landing them a better chance of a better draw in the next round. Two teams making their way out onto the field of play now. They're currently coming out from underneath the UEFA Champions League arch. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see how this one unfolds properly. And thank you all so much for being here. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe and all the rest of it. Hacker says fuzzy babe station vibes. I just want it to have a little bit of background, otherwise it's a little bit dead, isn't it? There isn't really anything to make it feel genuine and authentic without it. Both sets of players lined up in front of the main stand at the De Montelivi as the Champions League anthem rings around the stadium. Mikel Merino, a little wave to his adoring fans. Obviously, will probably know Girona a lot better than a lot of the other players, given his recent history in Spanish football. And from a Girona point of view, Oriol Romeo is someone that is a familiar face for us Premier League fans. There's Arnaut Danjuma as well, who spent some time in the Premier League with both Bournemouth and I think Everton as well, off the top of my head. A big hello to Ilka, who says greetings from Helsinki. Sadly going to work at the moment. Do enjoy, my friend, as best as possible. Barney says he fancies Trossard to score tonight. Lots of you talking about bets and accumulators and all the rest of it. The Saski Guna says Kala and Partey at fullbacks. What do you think, Harry? Look, I don't love Thomas Partey playing at fullback, and I've made no secret of that over the last few months. The thing is that we don't really have a lot of options at the moment. We've got Ben White out, we've got Tomiyasu out, who would both be in contention, I guess, to play at fullback if we wanted to give Jurrien Timber the rest. Jurrien Timber needs a rest because I think people forget almost that Jurrien Timber has come back from a really long-term injury and is now being asked to play so frequently. And in the absence of those players, as I say, it's really, really difficult for him. So look, I want him to get up to peak fitness, Jurrien Timber, and I think he's on his way to getting there. But he's certainly not going to get there if we overwork him. We just can't afford to do that. There's a couple of empty parts of the stadium here, and I'm just wondering if that's due to some sort of regulation, because it's strange to me. Like, you would have thought, and I know that Girona are out, it looks like the upper tiers of some of their stands are empty. Why is that? I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, interesting stuff. That I remember at Highbury back in the day, there was a few rows that we couldn't use right at the front, and I never really understood why. But I was told that it was some kind of UEFA regulation that meant that had to be the case. Anyway, are we going to get on with this or what? Because it's 8 o'clock. Come on, guys. Neto in goal, Partey at right back, Kivior, Gabriel and Calafiori make up the defence. Merino, Jorginho and captain Martin Odegaard are the Arsenal midfield, with Sterling, Nwaneri and Trossard in attack. A stern-faced Mikel Arteta looking on, with Albert Stuyvenberg, his assistant, next to him. Neto, the goalkeeper, making his Arsenal debut tonight, and he'll be hoping to make a good impression. He's had to wait patiently for an opportunity. David Raya unavailable to the Arsenal tonight, as confirmed by Mikel Arteta ahead of kickoff. It's going to be Arsenal kicking from left to right as we look at it, and it's the Gunners who are going to kick us off in all black. Girona in their red shirts with white checks on the front. Is that how you describe it? Red shorts and white socks, I suppose. You're listening to the Chronicles of a Gooner Watchalong, and we are underway as the ball is played back to Neto, who sends a long ball forward, right-footed, helped on by Mikel Merino. Raheem Sterling picks it up on the left-hand side. Looks as though that's the position he's going to occupy tonight. Gabriel will just roll it back to Neto, who collects on the edge of his penalty area, just puts his foot on it, slows things down for the Arsenal, and then sends a long ball out towards the Arsenal left flank where Raheem Sterling was waiting. He didn't win it. Mikel Merino did, but he's worked it back to Sterling, who's to the left of the Girona penalty area. Looks to wriggle away from Oriol Romeo, who's committed the first foul of the game. And so Set Piece FC have a free kick to the left of the Girona penalty area. And it's an early opportunity for Mikel Arteta's side to work the ball into the box. Martin Odegaard looks poised to take it. This is the ball down. We were a little bit late kicking off here in this one. I don't know why the BBC timer that I've got up there is saying that there is 2 minutes on the clock, but hey, it is what it is. I can only see 1 minute. We're in the second minute now, so maybe it's going to fix itself as they noticed. Martin Odegaard then to deliver this free kick from the left-hand side. Arsenal have a group of players bunched at the far post. They'll make a dash across the penalty area. Odegaard whips it in. Partey challenges for it. Ruiz clears away for Girona, and Jorginho will pick it up around about the halfway line and just calmly plays it back to Neto, who slipped. Oh, it's a nightmare for Neto on his Arsenal debut. And there's an opportunity here for Girona to try and take advantage. Arsenal get bodies back. They manage to recover in time, and Jorginho wins a free kick in the left-back position. But that was a nightmare moment for Neto. There was appeals against Girona for a handball in the box. It came off of Ruiz's left arm, and I just wonder if the VAR is going to go back and check this now. Abel Ruiz was the man in question. It looks as though play is going to continue. They're not going to pull that back for an Arsenal spot kick. But Arsenal do have a free kick just inside their own penalty area that Neto, the goalkeeper, who so very nearly made a costly error, having lost his footing just a moment or so ago, is going to take. He clears upfield, up towards Mikel Merino it goes. Oriol Romeo wins it for Girona into Abel Ruiz. And Romeo then just sweeps it back to his centre-back. Here's Juan Pay. Plays it to the left where Frances will control it with the right foot. Rolls it back to his goalkeeper under pressure from Leandro Trossard. And then Partey wins a header for Arsenal around about halfway. Odegaard into Jorginho. Odegaard gets it back, uses Ethan Nwaneri to his right-hand side. Here is the Arsenal prodigy, Ethan Nwaneri, combining with Martin Odegaard. Lovely turn. And then he works it wide right to Thomas Partey, who's joined in on the attack. Arsenal getting bodies forward at the moment, but there's no way through this stubborn Girona side at the minute. Calafiori coming in field from that left-hand side, as he so often likes to do. Raheem Sterling now on the left for the Gunners. Checks in field, then turns back outside, and then picks up the pace a little bit, makes his way towards the edge of the box. Oriol Romeo dangles out a leg and wins it back fairly for Girona, but they can't break away because Jorginho prevents the counter-attack. Sterling now inside the box. Raheem Sterling curls one, and he almost found the far corner. Brilliant piece of play from Raheem Sterling to create the space for the shot. Merino involved. Sterling holding off a couple of challenges, and then he just tried to bend it into the far corner. Wasn't far away at all from Raheem Sterling. An early sighter for the Gunners. Still Girona 0, Arsenal 0, as Michel, the Girona coach, looks on with a little bit of worry on his face. Here is Lopez, the Girona goalkeeper, with the ball at his feet. They clearly want to play out from the back. Arsenal happy to press. And that's a foul by Leandro Trossard on Frances. I'm not sure that was a foul, if I'm being honest with you. He seemed to just dart inside him. The Girona man, he checked inside. Trossard couldn't really do much about it. Did he have a little bit of a kick out? Not for me, not enough for it to be a free kick, but it is, and that's a diagonal ball from Girona out to the right-hand side over the top of Ricardo Calafiori. Here come the hosts, low cross into the box, swept away by Gabriel. And just while we are live covering this game, I want to bring you some breaking news from David Ornstein, which might just kill our hopes, by the way, of an Ollie Watkins transfer, which is not what a lot of people will want to hear right now. Listen to this. Exclusive from David Ornstein. John Duran set for medical in London on Thursday before proposed move from Aston Villa to Al Nassr. 77 million euros plus add-ons agreed in principle and a 5.5-year contract in place. He says Arsenal made an approach for Ollie Watkins on Monday, which was quickly rebuffed. So that'll be disappointing for Arsenal fans, because if John Duran is on his way out of Aston Villa, as we discussed earlier, the likelihood of Watkins leaving too isn't very high. Here's Sterling on the byline for Arsenal. Low delivery into the box, blocked. It'll break wide of the Girona penalty area, where Mikel Merino will pick it up. Gabriel into Odegaard, just inside the area, loses out to Romeo, and Girona will look to bring the ball away. A little bit of a distraction there, as Ollie Watkins all but pours cold water, doesn't he, on the idea of Arsenal signing Ollie Watkins. Aston Villa 2-0 up, by the way, against Celtic. 2 goals from Morgan Rogers in the first 5 minutes, and they are comfortably in front. Nwaneri's delivery into the box, and Trossard's missed from what must have been no more than 4 yards out. Really good opportunity for the Gunners. A couple of step-overs on the left-hand side from Nwaneri, across with his weaker right foot into Leandro Trossard, who I don't think expected it to come to him, and it seemed to come off of his side and then end up flying just wide of the goalkeeper's right-hand post. Girona again looking to play their way out. Lots of reaction in the live chat box to that news that John Duran is on his way to Saudi Arabia, which all but rules out the possibility of Arsenal signing Ollie Watkins. Here's Leandro Trossard, edge of the box. Oriol Romeo with a strong, robust challenge, but a fair one, according to the referee. And here is Asprilla for the host. Works it out to the right-hand side. Here's Tsiankov. Asprilla carried on his run on the overlap, and he's got it back. He faces up to Ricardo Calafiori. Opportunity for a shot from distance, and it came off of Gabriel's head and ended up flying over the top of Neto's crossbar. That'll be a first corner to Girona after 8 minutes. Ivan Martin's effort. Gabriel just making sure that he helped it over the top of the crossbar. Positive start, says Matt in the chat. He also says that's a no to Watkins. Steve Stone says no way Watkins. Yeah, it's really disheartening, isn't it? What we've just heard. It takes the kind of air out of you, doesn't it? Even when you're watching a game like this. Just going to zoom my camera out a little bit. My camera is mirrored, by the way, so it looks like I'm facing the right way, because my screen that I'm watching the game on is just slightly off to the right of where my camera is positioned, and I don't want to start messing around with wires and all the rest of it. Girona have the ball at centre-back at the minute, and it's just been rolled back to Lopez in goal. Remember, if you're enjoying the watch-along, or if you just want to support us, you can do so by please leaving a like on the video. It really, really does help. And if you're new to the channel, do subscribe as well. We'd love to have you as part of the Chronicles of the Guna family. Remember, you can listen to the show on all major podcast stores as well. We'll have a look at some of the scores elsewhere. Aston Villa 2-0 up against Celtic. Still 0-0 between Barcelona and Atalanta. Bayern Munich 1-0 up against Slovan Bratislava. Inter lead Monaco. Lille need Feyenoord, and Atletico Madrid are winning at Red Bull Salzburg. PSG also winning at Stuttgart. Here come Girona on the attack down the left-hand side. Lovely bit of run. This from Danjuma. His shot takes a deflection, and then Neto is able to pounce on the loose ball. First real sign of life we've seen there from Arnaut Danjuma. He's been quiet in the opening exchanges, but he came to life off of that left-hand side there and almost caused Neto all sorts of problems. Kivior's chip ball out to the left-hand side. Calafiori has to readjust, but manages to bring it under control eventually. Here he is, the Arsenal fullback. He's got Jorginho inside of him, but opts to roll it back to Kivior. Partey with a slightly heavy touch, but no one close enough to him to take advantage of it. And then he works it down the right to Martin Odegaard. Comes inside on that left foot. Lovely combination play between he and Trossard. Now it's with Gabriel Magalhaes just inside the Girona half. Out to the left flank for Raheem Sterling. Does really, really well to evade the challenge of Martinez. Lays it off to Calafiori, who's up in support. Mikel Merino on the outside. Back in field to Raheem Sterling. Looking for a way through. Lays it off to Jorginho, another former Chelsea player. Here is Sterling, just inside the box. Works it in behind for Calafiori, who scores from the angle. That's a fantastic finish from Riccardo Calafiori, but the flag's up. Really, really disappointing because the passing behind was brilliant. The execution of the finish, 10 out of 10. We'll get another look at this. Yeah, I think he was just offside. I think his left leg is what means that the Italian was just in an offside position, but the finish is exquisite through the legs of Lopez at his near post. The flag's gone up and the goal will be ruled out, and I think rightly so. They will have a quick look at it, I'm sure, but there's nothing for Arsenal to complain about, really. It was clearly offside, not by a great deal, but it was offside nonetheless. Into the 12th minute between Girona and Arsenal. The Gunners looking for that opening goal, looking for that breakthrough. Nothing really at stake for Girona other than pride. It was remarkable that they made it into this competition in the first place. I know they've got the Manchester City group's backing and all the rest of it, but still a wonderful story as Odegaard's crossing to the box is cleared away. I know people say that if you're in it, you want to win it, but I'm sure these Girona fans have enjoyed the ride despite the results not necessarily going the way they'd have wanted in this UEFA Champions League competition. Here's Trossard to the left of the Girona box now. Looking for support. Inside it goes to Calafiori. To the edge of the box for Odegaard, who hits it on the swivel, but gets right underneath it, and it flies over the top of Lopez's crossbar. See what he was trying to do, Martin Odegaard. He was just trying to generate that whip and bend on the ball, and I'm assuming hit that far post. He didn't quite execute it right. It's not been a great season for Martin Odegaard in terms of outputs. I know he missed a couple of months through injury. When he came back into the side, there was an instant impact from the Norwegian. But generally speaking, I think it's been a bit of an underwhelming season for him by his usual standards. I think he's only got 2 goals, which is remarkable, actually, when you think about how many he's been contributing over the past couple of seasons. Here's Tsiankov. Takes the ball on the chest and works it infield. That's worked back out to the right. Girona looking to pin Arsenal back this time. They're forced back to Juanpe, who's just inside the Arsenal half. Here he is again. He's got options out to the right if he can use them. Sends it into the feet of Asprilla, who's got that license in this Girona team to drift into different positions. Francis gets it back, the Girona fullback, and then rolls it back to Juanpe at centre-back. He'll use his goalkeeper, having been put under pressure by Leandro Trossard. Martinez. Now Romeo at the base of the Girona midfield. If you're enjoying the watch along so far, please do leave us a like on the video. It really, really does help. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you are subscribed. Riccardo Calafiori fouled there just inside his own half, and Arsenal have a free kick. Approaching the quarter of an hour mark, and we'll just have another look at that disallowed Riccardo Calafiori goal, the semi-automated offside, just confirming that he was in fact quite a way offside. When you look at it from that angle, you can see it. But take nothing away from Riccardo Calafiori. He is a really composed finisher when it matters, which is great to see. Gabriel Magalhaes takes his free kick for Arsenal just inside their own half. Here he is again, the big Brazilian centre-back, without his regular partner, William Saliba, tonight, who is on the substitutes bench, along with Declan Rice, Jurriën Timber, Kai Havertz, and Gabriel Martinelli, just to name a few. Partey to Gabriel, who played it down the line to Sterling. First time ball inside is for Merino. Did talk about it earlier in the day. Is Leandro Trossard going to be the one if we don't get a centre forward in that's going to be, or if we get a wide player in that's going to end up being the backup to Kai Havertz? It feels that way. It feels like he's the most natural fit. Not that he is a natural fit, but the most natural fit, I guess. Here's Jorginho. Now Gabriel Magalhaes. on the corner of the Girona penalty area. He's got Calafiori on the outside of him, uses him. Ricardo Calafiori into Mikel Merino. Partey sweeps it back to Jorginho, who was some 10 or so yards deeper. Jorginho has it again. Afsar says, why don't you do commentary every game? If I didn't have work commitments, I would do all the away games because I'd be at the home games. But I'm often working on Arsenal games, and I don't really get the opportunity to sit at home and watch them very often like I'm doing tonight, which is why I felt it was a good chance. We are going to do one of these for the Newcastle Cup game as well, because I'm going to be available for that one as well. So I figured if this goes well, if people like it, if we get the positive feedback and people want it, we will do it again. So do let me know if you're enjoying it. If you're not, you can also let me know, because then that means it's probably not worth spending hours and hours and hours doing these if nobody's actually going to watch them. But anyway, Keith Aldridge in the chat says, thinking about this Watkins Villa situation, if we have bid, then surely we've made Villa make a decision. Sell a 21-year-old or a 29-year-old may not be over. It's an interesting point. Calafiori picks up the ball for Arsenal just inside his own half. Kivior now with a long diagonal out to the right. Ethan Nwaneri looks to bring it down, but Francis was there on hand to just stick out a boot and put the ball out of play. Benfica have scored, have they? 1-0 up at Juventus. Vangelis Pavlidis, the scorer. He's on fire, that striker, I'm telling you. He is on fire. Greece's finest at the moment. Arsenal have themselves a corner kick. And it's going to be Ethan Nwaneri to take it. He comes over slowly to put the ball down in the quadrant. Arsenal, as always, plenty of bodies forward for the set piece. Mikel Merino, one of the big aerial threats in this team when he's a part of it. Ricardo Calafiori's in the box. Big Gabriel currently situated around the penalty spot. Nwaneri's delivery. Goalkeeper comes, doesn't get much on it. Hooked forward by Tsiankov. Asprilla will chase it. But I think there's been a foul given to Girona. A foul on Lopez, the goalkeeper, really? I didn't think that was... I didn't think there was much in that, to be honest with you. I think he's got away with that. I think it's one of those that you definitely do not get as a goalkeeper in the Premier League. You might get it on the continent. You might get it in Europe, but you're definitely not getting it in the Premier League. Calafiori with a poor defensive header. Tsiankov looking to take advantage, but Calafiori bites back, and then Jorginho works it into Thomas Partey, who with a few big strides crosses over into the Girona half. He's got Nwaneri to his right, uses him. Partey making the overlapping run. Nwaneri with a couple of step overs, and then the right-footed cross blocked by Francis, and that'll be another Arsenal corner. Steve says, if we score, would you go mental? Love to see you on a clipped fan reaction video. I don't think, it's not the type of game that I would go mental in, because it feels like there isn't a massive amount riding on this at the moment. So probably not. But yeah, I don't know. My reaction will be a natural one. So you never know. You never know. Here comes the corner into the penalty area, bouncing around. And then where Kivior was waiting, just ended up being denied the ball reaching him at the last minute. Nwaneri delivers into the far post. That's headed away. Jorginho retrieves it on the corner of the penalty area, recycles it all the way back to Gabriel. And the ball goes back in towards the Girona penalty area, but again, Oriol Romeo too strong. Merino looking to win it back for Arsenal. Commits a foul. Can't really have any complaints there, Mikel Merino. I thought it was a foul as soon as I saw it, if I'm being honest with you. How many likes have we got on the board so far? Not very many by the looks of things. I'll refresh the page because that might have changed. Yep, more than I thought actually, which is nice. Please do, if you haven't done so already, leave a like on the video. It really, really does help. Matt says, Harry, if Nwaneri scores a 30-yard overhead kick, would you go mental? Yeah, in that case, I probably would. Here's Partey. Kivior. Back to Partey inside the centre circle. The Greek-born 73 says, Sterling gives me hope I can make it as a footballer. I don't know what it is with Raheem Sterling. Like, I've always rated Raheem Sterling throughout his career, but I've just been so unimpressed with what I've seen of him at Arsenal so far, and I can only put it down to confidence. Like, I don't know what else it could be, in all honesty, guys. Here's Partey. Now Odegaard. Partey again. Left to Gabriel. A little bit of an awkward one for him to control that. Finds Calafiori, who was some 15 or 20 so yards further up the pitch. Here's Big Gabby again on that left-hand side for the Gunners. Lots of possession in this type of area, but not a great deal of penetration as far as Arsenal are concerned so far. Here's Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side being held up by Girona's Martinez. Lays it off to Odegaard. Odegaard forced back to Gabriel, who's joining in on a lot of these attacks now from centre-back. Arsenal trying to create as many overloads as possible. Mikel Merino with a nice change of direction there. Gets it back from Big Gabby once more. The former Real Sociedad midfielder back in Spain with the Gunners, though, this time. Gabriel, Calafiori on that left-hand side. Again, nowhere really to go. And so Arsenal just keep recycling the ball back. It's pretty similar to a lot of games that we've seen so far this season, where Arsenal have had a lot of the ball but not really created a great deal. This isn't the best Arsenal team out there available to Mikel Arteta as well. He has made some changes. It's important to note that, I think, and it's important to factor that into your analysis. But Leandro Trossard has committed another foul. This time it was on Martin. Well, I mean, there are Girona fans yawning in the crowd, which kind of says a lot, doesn't it, about how it's going. Mike says, sometimes it's just nice to listen to a watch-along where there's no screaming and shouting for rage baiting. Thank you very much, mate. You're not going to get that here, I promise you. Cannon talk. I'll just pause this 1 second because Girona are coming forward. That's a ball into the penalty area dealt with by Jakob Kivior, and then Raheem Sterling picks it up for the Arsenal on the left-hand side. Uses Leandro Trossard on the outside of him. Just inside the Girona half is the Belgian now, combining with Sterling, who spins away from Oriol Romeo's challenge this time. Now Ricardo Calafiori has it. He was looking for Trossard's run, but he just deemed that pass a little bit difficult to pull off in the end, and so decided against it. Cannon Talk says, Harry, do you feel that the Watkins story has changed the view that we might not make a signing before the window closes? I'll tell you what it's done. It's shown me that Arsenal are willing to spend a big amount of money in this January window, which I was not sure was the case. I got to be honest, like, if we've got 60 million to throw at Ollie Watkins, then there's not really any excuses there for not going for some of those other targets that we've been linked with in the past. Stan the Man, hello to you, mate. He says, listening in while digging into my packed lunch in the office. Do enjoy, my friend. That's going to be another Arsenal corner as Raheem Sterling's cross is blocked by Martinez at the near post. Big hello to the Greek-born as well, and to everybody else who's joining us in the live chat right now. Remember, leave a like on the video. It really, 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 really does help. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new as well. That also helps. And you can sign up to the Chronicles of Aguna on Patreon, should you so wish. Okay, Arsenal corner from the left-hand side. Leandro Trossard is about to deliver. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger from the Belgian. Referee just doing a little bit of sorting out, keeping close tabs on a couple of duels ongoing in the penalty area, and it goes towards the far post. Merino challenges. Kivior then heads it back across the penalty area. Calafiori stuck out a leg, but Girona temporarily get it clear. Odegaard on halfway uses his goalkeeper Neto, who launches it forward again for the Gunners, out to the left-hand side, but it's dealt with by the right fullback. Now Ricardo Calafiori will roll it back to Neto. That pass looked a little bit short initially, but it managed to find the Arsenal goalkeeper, who cleared, making his debut tonight, of course, having signed from Bournemouth. 68 passes completed by the Gunners tonight, 60 from Girona. So, yeah, interesting how even it is at the moment. Now, I say that, the passes completed are very, very similar, but in terms of possession, it's been very, very different. Arsenal, 66.4% of the possession so far. Girona, 33.6%. So Arsenal certainly leading in that sense. Shots, 2-2. Shots on target, 0-0, so none. Arsenal have had 10 touches inside the Girona penalty area so far, and they've had just 2 in ours. No saves from either goalkeepers so far. And, 28 minutes on the clock, or 27 minutes, I should say, on the clock. That timer is just getting a little bit ahead of itself. Let's have a look at what some of you guys are saying. Courts D says this is what a watch-along should be about. Thanks, Harry. Thank you. Arsenal Content says, hello, Harry. Loving the commentary, man. Don't know why I'm saying commentary. Mike T says it's almost like listening to BBC London. I'll be back on BBC London on Sunday for the Manchester City game, which I'm really, really looking forward to. Here is Juanpe at the back for Girona. Sends a ball forward. That's a good ball in behind. Danjuma has caught Neto out, and he's found the back of the net, and Girona have the lead. The flag stays down. Arsenal caught out, and it's the hosts who take the lead. Arnaut Danjuma in behind, the former Premier League winner. I'm not sure how exactly we've been ripped open that easily. And on top of that, I'm not sure what on earth Neto was doing in that position. The Girona fans celebrate. The atmosphere has just gone up a few notches inside the De Montilivi Stadium. Arsenal trail Girona by a goal to nil. That was way too easy. He makes a run off the back of Thomas Partey, it is, who just has no idea that Danjuma's coming. I don't know why on earth Neto is so far advanced. Is he waiting for Arsenal to use him as an option to play out from the back? It was Juanpe's pass from centre-back that split open the Arsenal defence. A clear example, again, of why Thomas Partey is not a fullback. Like, Neto was outside of his box when he dived to try and save it. If he had got a hand to that, that could have had horrible implications. Like, it's just a mess from an Arsenal point of view. From start to finish, that goal, it's really, really disappointing. Really disappointing. The goal's been checked. He was onside. I think it might have been Ricardo Calafiori on the far side that was playing him on. We've only had a couple of replays, and not from the best angles, if we're being honest. Arsenal looking to hit back straight away. Calafiori's cross from the left-hand side. Trossard can't make anything of it, and he's swept away by Jakubishvili. Arnaut Danjuma's goal separates the two sides. The Gunners trailing then. And this is hugely disappointing. The performance hasn't warranted us being behind, but we're in trouble again as they come forward once more. Here's Danjuma on the left-hand side again, works it inside. This time it almost broke for Asprilla, and Calafiori had to do brilliantly to get back there and defend and take it essentially off of his toes. Now, given the way the other results are looking at the moment, that goal does put Arsenal down to 5th place in the table. Here is Tsiankov. I told you not to take this team lightly. I told you that the freedom that Girona are playing with tonight might just serve them well. Just, really, really shitty goal to concede, if I'm being honest with you. It's been really, really bad. I'm talking about the goal, that is, not the overall performance. I just think the way the goal came about, the defense splitting pass from Juanpe isn't even anything special. Like, when you watch it back, it's just a simple pass. Partey has no idea where Arnaut Danjuma is. No idea whatsoever. It's his first goal in the Champions League this season, Danjuma. He pulls out really wide in order to kind of escape the attentions of Thomas Partey, as if to sneak around the back of him. And he does exactly that. And when he gets through on goal, he spots Neto in a ridiculous position, way outside of his penalty area, and he just bends it around him. And what I think is amazing is that Neto, who should have known where he was, still dives out with an outstretched right arm in an attempt to save it. And if he does get a hand to that, which is obviously what he's intending to do in that moment, a goalkeeper making a save with his hand outside of his penalty box. That would have massive implications. He might have even been sent off, which is just, I mean, we've got enough red cards this season, haven't we? Do we need more? It's been a real rubbish debut for Neto so far. I know it's early. We're only a third of the way through the game, I should say, but it's not looked good, has it, for him? Here's the moment again, and it's just confirmation that it was Riccardo Calafiori on that far side, the semi-automated offside, just showing us that and proving that to us. It was him who played Danjuma on. Arsenal with a corner kick that Leandro Trossard is going to deliver. Right-footed ball into the penalty area. It goes. Out comes the goalkeeper. Comfortable catch for Lopez, who was completely unchallenged. And Girona looked to break away. He's released it early, looking for Asprilla on the left-hand side. Will he keep it in? He won't get there ahead of Ethan Nwaneri, who, with a sliding challenge, puts the ball out and into touch. Thank you for joining me on this Chronicles of a Guna watch-along of Girona versus Arsenal. It's not going our way at the moment. It's not going very well indeed, is it? Really, really crappy goal to concede. That's undeniable. Really frustrating, and Neto not exactly covering himself in glory in terms of his first Arsenal appearance. Again, here he is, quite a way outside of his penalty area. I know our goalkeepers like to play on the front foot. I know they play sweeper roles. I know they support the team in the build-up as well, and that's why you often see them sort of high up the pitch. But this is just, it's just not working, is it, for Neto at the moment? It's not a performance from him that's filled me with any confidence whatsoever. Jorginho on the edge of the box for Arsenal. Left to Raheem Sterling. Can he create something here? Sterling still on the corner of the box. Rolls it back to Gabriel. Square ball inside to Jorginho. Chip ball out to the right. Partey, who was caught out really, if we're being honest, for that goal. Looking to work something with Ethan Nwaneri, but forced back to Kivior, who's just inside the Girona half. Square ball infield is for Jorginho. Works it left to Gabriel Magalhaes. Arsenal in a good position because of the fact that some results are going their way at the moment, but that could all change. It's out of Arsenal's hands, and their goal difference could be the saving grace if they are to go on and lose this game tonight, which I'm hoping they don't. Here's another look at that goal. Partey caught out. Neto in no man's land. That's shocking goalkeeping from Neto. Like, you have to laugh, otherwise you'll cry. It's really, really bad decision making from him, and yeah, Arsenal struggling at the minute. I'm just in a couple of WhatsApp groups, and it's all going off. Arsenal fans, of course, can see why he hasn't played yet with regards to Neto. He's been rubbish since the whistle. Yeah, it's terrible. Really bad stuff thus far. Here come the hosts again with Tsiankov. Skips away from a challenger, makes his way inside the Arsenal box, cuts it back across the area to Arnaut Danjuma, whose shot was well blocked by Jorginho in the end. That was a massive chance for Girona to double their lead. Just 10 minutes or so out from half-time. It was Tsiankov's good work down the right. He worked it inside. Arnaut Danjuma took a touch with the right foot, just tried to fashion that extra half a yard of space to get the shot away, and Jorginho, using his experience and know-how, sticking out a leg and making sure that he deflected that away from Neto's goal. Girona take the corner early, worked it back up to Tsiankov. It's delivered from a slightly different angle now, a deeper angle. Neto comes and claims confidently and then releases the ball early towards Leandro Trossard, whose touch was poor. You can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to bring it out of the air. Arnaut Danjuma in possession now, just inside the Arsenal half. Works it inside to Oriol Romeo. And listen, I've been critical of Neto, right, with regards to his role in that goal. I think that's absolutely fair, because it was a really poor piece of goalkeeping as Danjuma sees his pass blocked there by Thomas Partey. But this is a really good point from Mike T in the chat, who says, unfortunately, Neto is what happens when a player has 0 minutes until the end of January. It's a really good point. Like, the guy's had no time. He's obviously rusty. That's partly it, but it's probably partly the fact that he's desperate to impress as well. And he's just trying too hard. He's overthinking it as Trossard gives the ball away, but it breaks kindly for Marino. Here he has it, about 5 yards from the edge of the Girona penalty area. Partey on the edge of the box, trying to dance his way through, goes down under a challenge in the box. Not sure what the referee has given here. What exactly has the referee given here? Is he given a penalty? What has he given? Partey in the box. He's given a penalty. Arsenal have a penalty kick. It's taken me a little bit of time to figure out exactly what the decision was there because I haven't got the sound on, of course. But Thomas Partey goes down in the penalty area. It's a desperate attempt from Martinez to stop Partey getting through, having danced his way into the box already, but the VAR are checking this. I'll be surprised if this stands. I'll be surprised. So what's the decision? I think they're still waiting. I think we're still waiting. Yep, it looks like it is an Arsenal penalty that Jorginho is going to take. I mean, I gotta be honest. I don't think that's a penalty. Personally, I don't think that's a penalty. I think that's really, really soft. But we've got it. Jorginho steps up. Scored plenty of penalties throughout his career, the Italian international. Takes precedent over Martin Odegaard. Jorginho steps up, does the little skip and rolls it into the bottom right-hand corner to level the score for Arsenal. A contentious decision from the Italian referee this evening, but Arsenal won't mind because they are back on level terms, courtesy of their number 20, a midfield metronome, Jorginho with the goal, with his little classic skip as he runs up to the ball. Partey won the penalty. I don't think that was I've seen it again. I've just seen it again. I've seen it 3 or 4 times now. And the reason I was unsure about what the decision was because I quite frankly couldn't believe that he'd given a penalty for that. And the more I watch it, the more I think it's a shocking decision, which we have fortunately this time ended up on the right side of. But if I'm a Girona fan, I am furious. Furious. I don't think it's a penalty. Paul Penny says, looked clear cut. Harry, from the replay can see Partey was taken out. But it's a weird kind of taken out, isn't it? Like he doesn't sweep through and take everything. He just sort of sticks out a leg. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Partey was getting to the ball anyway. I don't know. For me, you guys are seriously disagreeing with me in the chat. I got Charlton Ronald says it's a penalty. Harry, look at the last touch of the defender raising his leg to make contact on Partey. Nick Grant says definite penalty. Come on. Barney says no way. I think he's talking about something else. Greek-born says it was a penalty. Wandering Minstrel says he was chopped. Here's one area inside the Girona penalty area looking to make something happen. Cuts it back to Thomas Partey, but he's forced all the way back to Kivior just inside the opposition half. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll maybe revise my judgment at half-time when I get a chance to look at it again. But wow, that is a shocking score coming in from Villa Park. Aston Villa 2, Celtic 2. Maybe Ollie Watkins will want to leave now. Celtic have come from the dead and are back on level terms with Aston Villa. That's about as Unai Emery as it gets. This is the thing, though, right? So the Greek-born in the chat says, defender's leg was blocking Partey. Definitely a pen. But blocking him, does that warrant a pen? I don't know. Wandering Minstrel says it was clumsy. It looked clumsy. I'll give you that. It certainly looked clumsy. But yeah, I'm not sure. I need to look at that again. I need to look at that again, to be honest with you. Here come Girona down the left-hand side with Arnaut Danjuma making his way into the penalty area. Low cross. Opportunity here. It's behind Asprilla, but Romeo's shot is straight down the throat of Neto, who pats it down into the ground and then rolls it out. And Arsenal set off on an attack of their own. Odegaard Partey, Nwaneri on the edge of the box, cuts inside onto that left foot, sees his shot blocked. It will break to the right of the penalty area where Thomas Partey will retrieve, but instead he'll just allow it to run out of play. Just looking at some of your comments with regards to the penalty. Nwaneri, edge of the box. Ethan Nwaneri bends one. Oh! That is a stunning, stunning goal from Ethan Nwaneri. It's trademark Ethan Nwaneri. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. And he makes that little half a yard of space, which is all this kid needs. And he bends it into the far corner to put Arsenal in front on 41 minutes. It's Girona 1, Arsenal 2. This is a stunning goal from a fantastic young player. Picks it up just inside the box. He's forced outside of the box. He's just around about where the D is. And he creates that half a yard of space. And as I say, that's all he needs. He wraps his left foot around the ball and bends it into the far corner. The goalkeeper at full stretch could do nothing about it. Arsenal might have, in my opinion, been a little bit fortunate to get that penalty kick just a couple of moments ago to get them back on level terms. But that goal from Ethan Nwaneri is truly, truly stunning. That's his first goal in the Champions League. Arsenal 2-1 up at Girona, courtesy of Ethan Nwaneri. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, this kid is outstanding. Like, he is really outstanding. Really outstanding. That's the goal that moves Arsenal back up into third, by the way, which is a much healthier position. Really, really brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. What a player this kid is, man. What a player he is. Let's see what you guys are saying. Ethan in the chat. Richie says, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. John says, screamer from Ethan. What a strike by the Hale Ender. Absolute class. This Ethan lad is pretty decent, says Matt G. Cannon Talk says, that's pure instinct. That is banger, says the Wandering Minstrel. It is, isn't it? It's one of those goals that's scored purely out of like natural ability. He just trusts himself so much with that left foot of his, doesn't he? He believes that he can always generate the whip and the accuracy that he needs, and he's done exactly that. It's a fantastic finish. Here comes Trossard down the right now. Can Arsenal get another one? Trossard off the woodwork. So close from Leandro Trossard, who broke free down the right-hand side. I have to say the angle didn't look great for Leandro Trossard, but he manages to latch onto the end of Odegaard's pass, make his way in closer to goal, doesn't allow the angle to close completely before getting the shot off, and it comes off of the crossbar. He was looking for the roof of the net. He was trying to catch Lopez, the goalkeeper, out at his near post, and he certainly beat him, all ends up. 44 minutes on the clock, and Arsenal 2-1 up, but purring at the moment. They almost don't want half-time to come. Girona certainly will, though, after the way they've capitulated in the space of the last, 6 or 7 minutes. Ethan Nwaneri's goal at the minute separates the two sides. Jorginho's spot kick leveled the score on 38. Arsenal in front and in control at the moment. Here is Lopez out to the right-hand side. The hosts looking to work it forward. They work it up to halfway, but Jakub Kivior wins his defensive header. And then he comes through the back of Ruiz to dispossess him by wrapping his leg around him almost. And Arsenal looking to see what remains of the half out. Should we have a look at some of the scores elsewhere, or should we save it for half-time? Half-time is not far away at all. Just the one added minute. At the end of this first period, and we've already had 20 seconds of it. So I'll tell you what, we'll hold fire on the scores from elsewhere. We'll do that at half-time, but there is one that's just come through. Manchester City are trailing Club Brugge in what's a must-win game for Pep Guardiola's side. Onyedika with the goal on 45 minutes for the Belgians. Speaking of Belgians, here's Leandro Trossard. Sterling smashed out into touch by the Girona defender, Martin, who was back. Gunners in no rush to take this, as you can understand. Riccardo Calafiori eventually makes his way out to that left-hand side. Short throw to Raheem Sterling, gets it back, does the Italian, and the referee blows the half-time whistle. Arsenal lead Girona by 2-1. Arnaut Danjuma put the hosts in front on 28 minutes. Jorginho then levelled the score on 38 with a spot kick won by Thomas Partey. And on 42 minutes, Ethan Nwaneri curled a brilliant finish into the far corner to put the Gunners 2-1 up. They're in the driving seat. They're sitting pretty in third. And the Gunners are flying. Let's have a look at some of the comments in the live chat. Maybe Chef says, been listening since 2019. Love your pod. Keep it up, Harry. Really enjoying the watch along so far. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate it. Matt says, only one added minute. We've had 3 goals, including a pen. The ref must have a date to go to. I respect it. Yeah, maybe he does. Richie says, my bad for thinking that we would keep a clean sheet. Stan says, I'd take winning the CL over the league in a heartbeat. That would give us a seat at the big boys table. I often say that, I've not seen Arsenal win the Champions League. So for me, that would be like the thing, right? That would be the one. That's the thing that I really want to kind of tick off of my list. So, yeah, I'd love to see Arsenal go on and win the Champions League at some point. It isn't going to be easy, but it certainly would make me a very happy man. Should we have a look then at the table as it stands and have a look at some of the scores from elsewhere during this half-time break? If you're just joining us now on the Chronicles of a Gooner Watch Along, welcome. If I could ask you very kindly to leave a like on the video, it really does help. So please do so. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're brand spanking new. Right, let's have a look then at some of the scores elsewhere. Aston Villa 2, Celtic 2. Morgan Rogers scored a couple of goals within the first 5 minutes to put Aston Villa in a really comfortable position. But Ida has scored twice on 36 and on 38. And in the latter stages of that first half now, because we're deep in stoppage time, it is currently 2-2 between the two sides. That's not what I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to scores. There we go. So that's that. What am I doing? What am I clicking here? Hold on a second. Let me having a shocker here. Wait a minute. Scores. No, I'm clicking scores and it's not taking me to scores, which is really bloody annoying. No, I don't want to watch final score. There we go. That's the page I wanted. Barcelona 0, Atalanta 0 at the break. Leverkusen leads Sparta Prague by a 0-0. Bayern Munich 1, Slovan 0. Dortmund 2-0 up against Shakhtar. Real Madrid leading at Stade Brestois. We've got Dinamo Zagreb 1-0 up against AC Milan, which is interesting. Arsenal, of course, 2-1 up at Girona. Inter are 2-0 up at Monaco. Benfica lead Juve by a 0-0. Vangelis Pavlidis with a goal for the Portuguese Giants. Lille 2-1 up against Feyenoord. Manchester City are trailing Club Brugge by a 0-0. And we'll have a look at the implications of that in just a minute. PSV 2, Liverpool 2. Looks like an entertaining game there. RB Salzburg 0, Atletico 3. Sporting 0, Bologna 1. Sturm Graz 1, Leipzig 0. Stuttgart 0, Paris Saint-Germain 3. And Young Boys 0, Red Star Belgrade 0. If we have a look at what the table looks like right now, then Arsenal in third with 19 points on the board. Inter level on points with us, but of course we have a superior goal difference to theirs, hence why we're ahead of them. At the moment, Aston Villa are going into the playoff round. They're not going to make it into the top 8 because they are currently drawing with Celtic. Mind you, even if they were to go on and win that game and put another 2 points on with 16, it puts them if they were to get another 2 points, they go on to 17, right? Because they're drawing the game at the minute, which actually puts them inside the top 8. So they need to win the game, Aston Villa. It's a big old night for Unai Emery's side. At the minute, Club Brugge is sitting in 14th. Why? Because they're beating Manchester City, who right now, remarkably, sit in 26th position in this UEFA Champions League phase, or whatever you want to call it. That's remarkable to me. There are so many times during this Champions League campaign where I've looked at the table and I've gone, yeah, but that's going to change. And I keep looking at it with Manchester City and think, well, that's going to change soon, surely. And it just isn't changing. They're not moving. It's not budging. They're in a real crap position at the minute. Victory would put them on 11 points, which at the moment would have them just inside the top 24. But that's with a victory. That means they need to score 2 goals in that second half. Now, they're certainly capable of it. Let's not pretend that they're not. But it's for a side that are already a little bit shaky in terms of their confidence. It's not great, is it? Let's revisit the Arsenal match again, which is ultimately the one that we are here covering for you on the Chronicles of a Gooner Watchalong. Arnaut Danjuma's goal on 28 put them in front. Jorginho and Nwaneri's goals have turned this one on its head for the Gunners. Should we have a look at some of the halftime match stats? Girona, 40% of the possession. Arsenal with 60% of the ball. The Gunners have an XG of 1, which they are outperforming at the moment because they've got 2 goals, which is nice. 6 attempts at goal. Girona have had 5. 2 on target apiece. The Gunners have had 19 touches in the Girona box versus their 8. Arsenal's goalkeeper's made the 1 save. 5 fouls committed by the Gunners. 4 corners to 2 in Arsenal's favour. I've never looked at this before on the BBC's website. Advanced stats. XG from open play is an interesting one. Arsenal's is really low, 0.21, whereas Girona's is 0.7. Expected assist, is that? Expected assist from open play. This is all getting a little bit too complicated for me now. I think we'll leave that there. But Arsenal, yeah, in the driving seat, 2-1 up. Just having a look at that goal and how it came about again. You can see it where it's partly because of Kivior. Like, I'm just looking at this analysis that's ongoing on TNT Sports at the moment, and you can just see that Jakub Kivior's come out of the backline maybe a little bit too early, which is perhaps spooked Thomas Partey. I'm not absolving Thomas Partey, by the way, of any blame. He's certainly got to defend that better. But Danjuma's really clever because he drifts really far wide. He looks across the line. He spots Calafiori's position, knows that he can use that to his advantage, and he manages to get in behind and finishes really well. Looking at the penalty again, I mean, I'm still not having that is a Stonewall penalty, to be honest with you. I don't think Partey's going anywhere. Like, is he blocked? Yes, but that defender on the cover, I think, is getting the ball. So I think we're a little bit lucky to get that. Jorginho then steps up, does the little hop and skip thing that he does. I hate that, by the way. It always makes me feel so incredibly nervous. And he rolls it into the bottom right-hand corner to put Arsenal back on level terms. And then there's this from Ethan Nwaneri. Wonderful bit of control on the edge of the penalty area, works his way even further in field, and then just creates that half a yard of space from which he can whip the ball into the far corner. And Lopez is getting nowhere near that. That is the finish of a top-class player. It really, really is. It's stunning from the young man, and you can see why Arsenal was so desperate to tie him down to a long-term contract. And to a professional contract, first and foremost. Mike T says, Harry working for the BBC, but cannot work the website. Yeah, damn right. Damn right. It is. Do you know what, though? Like, for people who live in the UK and use the BBC website as their kind of main source of like football stuff, like, it is honestly the best. Like, I'm not just saying that because I do some work for them. Like, it genuinely is the best. Like, I'm not going to name people, but I know of other broadcasters who have their own website, but when they're covering a game and are live at the game, they are using the BBC website because it is really good. It's really up to date. It's really up to speed. It's really powerful. It's really good. Love it. I think it's fantastic. The best one out there. A little bit of a plug there for the BBC as well. Lots of comments coming through at the moment. Just having a look at what you guys are saying. Lots of comments on the news that came from David Ornstein a little bit earlier on. Shall we touch on that, by the way? Shall we spend a bit of time reflecting on that now that it is half time and we can? Because obviously when that bombshell, if you like, was dropped by the Oracle, We were midway through the game. We were focused on the game. I sort of told you guys about it, but kind of skimmed over it a little bit as well because it just wasn't of paramount importance at that point. We were, of course, as I say, more focused on the game than anything else. So let's have a look at exactly what David Ornstein's had to say. I've got no idea why the picture's not loading, but you can still see the story. This is what David Ornstein put out, and this came out at 8:05. So this was 5 minutes into the game. John Duran set for medical in London on Thursday before proposed move from Aston Villa to Al Nassr. 77 million euros plus add-ons agreed in principle and a 5.5-year contract in place. Arsenal made an approach for Ollie Watkins on Monday, quickly rebuffed. So, okay, let's break this down. First of all, why on earth would a talent like John Duran want to go to Saudi Arabia at this stage in his career? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why on God's green earth would he think that that's the best move unless he's financially motivated? But put that to one side for a minute. 77 million quid is bonkers, isn't it? It's bonkers money. I know that's euros. So what is it, like 70 million quid rather than 77? Plus there's add-ons as well in there. Those are all agreed in principle. That is all agreed in principle. And he's got a 5.5-year contract. Why would he sign up to a 5.5-year contract? It's mad, right? Because yesterday, sorry, let me just flick my heating back on because I'm a bit cold. Yesterday, we were discussing the prospect of John Duran as an Arsenal player. We were discussing it. I was seriously talking about him as an option. And I said that there were reasons that maybe put me off of John Duran a little bit. There are things about John Duran that would set alarm bells off for me. He's a little bit combustible. He's a little bit, I don't want to use the term crazy, but it feels like he's never far away from like a massive meltdown or something that's going to be really unsettling and really problematic. And you read this and you just think to yourself, like, the guy's head is in the wrong place. Like, okay, Aston Villa want to sell him because they want to move one of him or Watkins on. And okay, you know, an offer comes in from Saudi Arabia. There's not many people out there that are going to be able to better that. So, of course, you'd be interested. But he doesn't have to make this move. He doesn't have to agree a 5.5-year contract. To do that at his age, at this time, is bonkers. And I know the money is probably ridiculous. And I know the money is probably the type of money that I'm sitting here saying that people should reject. But if it was waved in front of my face, I probably wouldn't be able to. But still, man, like, have some ambition, man. Have some ambition. And actually, if this is what John Duran has chosen to do, and this is the move that John Duran has chosen to make, I think we've dodged the bullet, to be honest with you. That's my kind of initial reaction to this. I don't have a problem with players going to Saudi. I have a problem with players sort of giving up on actually achieving something notable in the football sphere just to have that crazy lump sum of money in your bank account at that stage in their careers. Like, surely at some point, the football has to take precedent. The sporting satisfaction has to take precedent over money. Now, maybe, you know, and maybe I'm being a little bit judgmental here, and maybe there are, you know, people out there like John Duran, for instance, and I don't know his background necessarily, but maybe who've grown up through extreme hardship. And so when money like that comes into the equation, it's very difficult for them to say no. I understand that. But I just, yeah, man, this is mad to me. This is mad to me. Just having a look at, by the way, at the goal that Manchester City have conceded. Oh, it's a really good goal from Club Brugge. Really, really good goal. Well worked down the left-hand side. The ball cut back across the penalty area and then struck into the bottom corner. Pep Guardiola could miss out on the knockout phases of the Champions League for the first time in his career. First time ever. Mad. Crazy. Okay, we're almost ready to get back underway for the second half. Just having a look at some of you guys' comments just on the John Duran stuff. Alistair Ben says, yeah, because you can't live on 250k a week. No, you can't, can you? Stan the Man says, Saudi talking about a 1 billion deal for Vinny Jr. Deal includes a private island and a fleet of cars. That's the world we live in. Madness. Madness. Chris Carrick says players' careers can end at any time. Easy for us to say they shouldn't get it while they can. I get what you're saying. Like, I do get what you're saying, but I don't know. I just like to think, and maybe it's because I'm a football purist, and maybe I wouldn't say this if it was me that was being offered a ridiculous amount of money, but I just think that football should take precedent first and foremost. And look, Matt says, disagree, Harry. Your family takes priority over everything. Oh, I agree with that. But then he says Duran signing his contract sets his family up for life. Yeah, but if I was a professional footballer this day and age and I just got a new bumper deal with Aston Villa or joined Arsenal, for example, pretty sure my family would be set up anyway. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, you're not talking about rich or poor. You're talking about rich or richer. Do you see what I mean? And that's where, for me, I think the want to succeed in football would probably take over. But hey, maybe I'm just being maybe I'm being the romantic. Maybe if I was in that position, I'd look at it or think about it differently. I don't know. Right, we're almost ready to get underway for the second half. Arsenal making a change, by the way. Has Mikel Arteta seen enough in the right back position? Yes, he has. Thomas Partey has been replaced by Jurrien Timber at the break. So the Dutchman coming on to bring us a little bit more security in that right back position. Was Mikel Arteta unhappy with what he saw from Thomas Partey in that first half defensively? There was certainly some questions to be asked. Arnaut Danjuma was having quite a bit of joy. What I'm hoping it's not is another injury, because Thomas Partey is one of those players who's been fit for a little bit longer than normal recently, and you do wonder if something's occurred there. But hey, that's the only change at halftime. Girona are about to kick us off. You're listening to the Chronicles of a Gooner Watchalong. Thank you so much for being with us on this Wednesday night. Remember, if you haven't done so already, leave a like on the video. It really does help. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I would love to see the family, the Chronicles of a Gooner family, expand even further. And remember, if you're enjoying this, please do let me know. All your feedback afterwards is very much appreciated as well, because I am planning, if people enjoy this, to bring you one of these for the Newcastle game in the Cup next week as well. Have we got some hope going into that one? Maybe, just maybe. Here's Leandro Trossard on the left-hand side for the Gunners, travelling forward, making his way towards the Girona penalty area. Rolls it short to Raheem Sterling just inside of him. Sterling creating some space. Brought down on the edge of the box, was he? Play on, says the referee. Timber joining in the attack on the right-hand side. Advantage, says the referee. Ethan Nwaneri coming in on that left foot again. Does he work better, Ethan Nwaneri, from that right wing position than he does? Oh, that's deflected and it's gone wide. I don't know where that came from. Bloody hell. Does he work better from the right than he does through the middle, Ethan Nwaneri? Maybe. Just having a look at that again. What on earth went on there? Nwaneri played the ball looking for Timber, and Francis, the Girona defender, just steps across it and it ricochets off of his shin, loops up into the air and flies just wide of Lopez's right-hand post. That was a big let-off. Massive let-off from the for the host, I should say. Arsenal corner from the left-hand side. Leandro Trossard preparing to deliver this into the penalty area. Gives the signal. Delivers right-footed towards the far post. Gabriel looking to turn it back into the danger zone, but gets way too much on it. And he goes behind for a goal kick. I made myself a nice tea at the start of the game. And it's gone bloody cold because I forgot all about it, even though it was sitting right next to me. I've got a kettle about like a meter away from me, which I would like to flick on to heat up my tea. But it's going to make too much noise during the watch along. It's going to make too much bloody noise. Maybe we turn off the crowd sounds and play the kettle instead for a few minutes. What have we got in the live chat? Just having a quick look. Thanks, Mario, for your very kind comments. Arsenal forcing Girona into a load of errors. Lopez involved this time at the back with Juanpe. They've made a mess of that, and so the Gunners have themselves another corner kick and another opportunity to test that Girona back line. Can they make the most of it? Ethan Nwaneri is going to deliver this from the right-hand side for the Gunners. He will whip this in, left-footed as he does. Raises that arm, signifies his intentions. Ethan Nwaneri delivers in towards the near post. Oh, and is it gone in? Almost clawed away off the goal line by the goalkeeper. Chaos, pandemonium inside the Girona penalty area. We'll get another look at exactly what went down there. Very, very difficult to figure out who exactly was at fault there, but Martin involved in it. He's holding his face. Arsenal have a man down inside the box as well, Jurien Timber. We'll get another look at this. So the corner comes in, it's whipped in. The goalkeeper is nowhere near it. It bounces in the space. It comes off of Timber's abdomen, if you like, and goes up into the air, but just doesn't sit right, just won't drop underneath the crossbar. And Lopez, the goalkeeper, recovers and punches it away to spare his own blushes, because that was terrible goalkeeping from him in the first place. Arsenal in the ascendancy at the moment, playing really well, controlling the game, creating opportunities regularly. They really ought to have made it 3-1 there. And you feel if they can find that third goal, it will put Girona to bed. Spanish side looking to play out from the back once again. The ball into midfield is a loose one. Trossard helps it on. Sterling will chase it into the penalty area, but Lopez comes and gathers, and then he releases it out to the right-hand side for Martinez. He's given that away to Mikel Merino in the Arsenal midfield. Jorginho, Odegaard, first-time pass into Merino. Just puts his foot on it and slows things down just a touch. Two former Real Sociedad players combining, Odegaard and Merino. Calafiori drifting into that midfield position, carrying it across the pitch, and then sends a ball out to the right-hand side for Ethan Nwaneri with the right foot. Arsenal with 7 attempts in total so far, just 2 of them on target. Girona with 5 attempts, 2 of theirs being on target, as Gabriel plays that forward. Merino out to the left for Raheem Sterling, but there was a late challenge on Mikel Merino, and the referee shows a yellow card to Jakobishvili. Just get another look at it. He just came into the back of Trossard. It's not a great challenge from Jakobishvili at all. Referee right to show the card, in my opinion. So Martin Odegaard is going to deliver the resulting free kick into the penalty area. No, he's not. He's going to play it short to Jorginho instead. Gets it back in a very similar position, Martin Odegaard. Uses Calafiori and then receives it again as the Norwegian, the Arsenal captain, into Sterling. Lovely change of direction from Raheem Sterling to the left of the Girona penalty area. Can he make room for the cross? No. He's been forced away from goal. He's under a lot of pressure, and then he tries a little back heel to find Ricardo Calafiori. And he just can't quite find his teammate. Massive thank you to Derek, who's joining us from Australia as well. Thank you so much. Man City 1, Club Brugge 1. Mateo Kovacic with a goal early on in this second half, which will certainly give Manchester City confidence that they can now turn that one around. There's plenty of time to go. I'm sure they will, actually. As Girona break down the right-hand side. Asprilla. Kivior coming across to confront him. Now Calafiori joining in to support defensively, and Calafiori wins it back for Arsenal. Merino inside to Odegaard. Approaching the halfway line, works it out to the right-hand side for Jurien Timber, who will carry into the space. Ethan Nwaneri in support, but not really in a great position in terms of having shaken off those around him. Jorginho over the top. Nwaneri Gets to the byline, checks back onto the left foot. Lovely bit of footwork to keep a hold of it. Still on the byline now, Ethan Nwaneri. Inside to Odegaard on the corner of the box. A little bit difficult that for him to control, but he manages to in the end. Nwaneri to the byline, cross into the penalty area. Sterling will retrieve on the far side after Tiankov fails to clear. Calafiori now attacking the Girona penalty area into Mikel Merino. Stands it up at the far post and it's swept away by Francis. Ruiz picks it up and looks to make some progress for Girona. He's done a good job of holding up the ball and just winning his team a bit of breathing space, I suppose. Sam Okello says, joining you from Magui, South Sudan. Thank you so much, mate. Really, really appreciate the love and the support. Thank you for being with us. We've got a couple of hundred likes on the board. Any chance we can push that a little bit further? If you're joining us on the stream and you haven't hit the like button already, what on earth are you waiting for? Here is Asprilla on the right-hand side. Trying to make something of it, but ends up overrunning the ball. And then Jorginho plays a delightful pass out to the left-hand side for Leandro Trossard, who will attack the Girona penalty area. Leandro Trossard with a couple of step-overs, right-footed shot, takes a deflection and goes behind for another Arsenal corner. Yakubishvili, the man who managed to get the block in. Looks like Girona are preparing a couple of changes. Was Asprilla fouled there by Raheem Sterling? Maybe. Stan the man says he'll be visiting his mum in Cyprus in a few weeks. She lives in Ayathegla, just by Ayanaba. Looking forward to getting some taramo salada. I was in Cyprus over the weekend. So good to be back. Best place on earth. I know I'm biased, but yeah, do enjoy, my friend. Do enjoy. Arsenal corner. Lost count of how many times I've said that tonight. Ethan Nwaneri is going to put this into the box. Left-footed ball whipped in towards the near post. Dealt with by, I think it was Ruiz, who was back there defending. I think it was Wanpei, actually, that got the final touch. Arsenal come again. Jorginho. Timber back inside to Jorginho. Timber continues his run down the right-hand side. Jorginho tries to find him. Breaks nicely for Nwaneri on the corner of the box. Manages to create the space for the cross, and it was in towards the far post where Gabriel was lurking, but Lopez was pretty switched on there. He had to be, and he came and gathered quite comfortably in the end. It's mad. Like, I'm watching the game, but I'm also like intrigued to see if we're going to get any more sort of transfer related news over the coming hours, which means I keep refreshing my feed. And Nwaneri with a volley just wide of the right hand post. Really good effort. Really good effort from Ethan Nwaneri, who is just, yeah, it's just brilliant. Just looking at some of the comments I've been getting on X as well over the last couple of hours since posting about Ollie Watkins. I said this about Ollie Watkins. I said he just turned 29 last month. He's not of the ideal age profile, but you can't question the club's ambition if they pay over 60 million and get this deal done. It's very much one for the here and now. Triple change. Solis, Stuani and Herrera are all coming on for Girona. So their manager has clearly seen enough. Crafty says, got to tune in to Harry on radio more. Great commentary, really enjoying it. Thank you very much. It's a little bit different on YouTube. It's a little bit looser. And because most of you are watching the game while being with me, I don't have to be as descriptive in terms of where the ball is and things like that, which just makes it a little bit more relaxing for me as well. Big Gabby committing a foul on Stuani. .57 minutes on the clock. Girona 1, Arsenal 2. frenetic ending to the first half, and it hasn't really lived up to it so far, the second half. But Girona on the attack, looking to hit back, looking to draw level. Mikel Merino, Odegaard. Visitors with the ball in the midfield with Solis. Out to the right it goes. Tsiankov will bring it under control and carry it forward. Delivered into the box. Gabriel's defensive header. And Trossard with a lovely touch to find Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling's ball inside is to Odegaard. That's a nice touch just to lay it off for Jurrien Timber. Arsenal work it back into midfield. Jorginho and Odegaard involved. Here's Kivior. Back to Neto, who's looked a little bit more comfortable since what was a really rubbish goal to concede, wasn't it, on 28 minutes from Arnaut Danjuma. It was really, really bad, really bad, if we're being honest. Shocking, in fact. Approaching the hour mark. Calafiori's ball back to Kivior. He's under a little bit of pressure here, but he's got Gabriel to his left, who he uses. But the challenge on Calafiori was just a little bit late, which has led to the referee pulling the play back for an Arsenal free kick on this near side. We're getting word that Manchester City are back in front. I haven't had confirmation of that just yet on my screen, but lots of you in the chat talking about it. Yep, Ordone's own goal on 62 minutes. Neto in possession again for Arsenal, this time inside his own penalty area. I love this from Matt, who says, after that Neto first half, Arteta might have stopped trying to sign an attacker. He's going to try and sign another goalkeeper. Bloody hell. You wouldn't put it past him, would you? That's the thing. You just wouldn't put it past him. Girona free kick about midway inside the Arsenal half. Tsiankov is getting ready to put this into the box. It's going to be an in-swinger. In it goes from Tsiankov. Neto comes and clutches gratefully on the edge of his 6-yard box. That was a really easy catch for the goalkeeper in the end. I thought he was going to have to rise, and in the end he just sort of waited at ground level for it to drop into his chest. And Arsenal coming down the left-hand side now with Raheem Sterling. Works it infield to Jorginho, clips it back in behind the defence. Sterling will recover it, just lays it off to Leandro Trossard though. Trossard to the edge of the box. Calafiori takes a touch and strikes left-footed. That wasn't far away, you know, from Ricardo Calafiori. A couple of feet wide of the goalkeeper's left-hand post. Ricardo Calafiori's got plenty of confidence, hasn't he, in the final third. It's like he was a striker stuck inside a defender's body. It's incredible. Like, he loves getting into the positions, and when he does, he often has the composure, certainly the confidence to take on the finish. Timber on the right for Arsenal, right on halfway. Was looking for the option down the line, decided not to use Ethan Nwaneri. In the end, worked it back to Martin Odegaard. Arsenal 2-1 up here and looking relatively comfortable, but with just the one goal lead, you never know, do you? They are in third as things stand at the moment, which is a great place to be in this Champions League phase. Barcelona are top of the pile at the moment as it stands, because they lead Atalanta, whilst Liverpool are trailing in their game at PSV Eindhoven by 3-2. Here's Tsiankov for Girona. Here's Jakubishvili. Rolls it back to his goalkeeper Lopez, under pressure from Trossard. Juan Pei now sends a ball forward, but it takes a ricochet off of an Arsenal man and goes out for a throw in. Aston Villa now 3-2 up against Celtic. Guess who scored? Yep, Ollie Watkins, of course. Calafiori winning a header for the Gunners, but they've lost possession almost immediately, having recovered it. Can Girona create something now? Here's Arnaut Danjuma on that far side, Girona's left-hand side. He's got one area in Timber for company. Goes on the outside of Timber, gets a cross in, which Timber manages to get a toe to, and the ball goes behind for a Girona corner kick. Don't forget, if you're with us on the live watch along right now, leave us a like. If you haven't, I'll be really disappointed. It really, really does help. Leave us a like, support the channel, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Corner for the hosts. And it comes, delivered in towards the far post this time and headed well wide in the end by Martinez. "64 minutes gone." I think that was Daley Blind in the crowd. Where is he these days? I think that was him. I don't even know. I might be wrong, but I thought that was Daley Blind. Oh, he plays for them. There you go. It's obviously not available tonight. I was thinking, what's Daley Blind doing there? Sounds like a random trip. Didn't realise he was playing for Girona at the moment, but he appears to be. Here's Neto in the Arsenal goal. Chip ball out towards the right-hand side. It was searching for Ethan Nwaneri. Doesn't reach its intended destination, though. Arsenal with some substitutes warming up at the moment. Tierney's there. Lewis Skelly's there, who was the subject of a major controversy at the weekend. Thankfully, common sense has prevailed in the end. And his appeal, or the club's appeal for his red card, has been upheld, meaning that he will not serve the 3-match ban that he had coming his way as a result of Michael Oliver essentially being a poor referee. Knockout phases start on the 11th of February, but that is the playoff round. So we, as far as things stand at the moment, will not be involved in that. We'll get some time off, which I think is much needed. Here's Neto. Kivior at right centre-back. Sends a left-footed diagonal out towards Raheem Sterling. The defender managed to beat Sterling to it. Martinez it was, but Calafiori picked up the loose ball, and now he'll work it wide to Raheem Sterling. Lovely dribble from him, but he's brought down. Raheem Sterling wants to take the free kick quickly. He's not going to be allowed to do so. Free kick is probably about 10 yards from the edge of the box to the left of centre from an Arsenal point of view. Girona planning another couple of changes. It was a great change of direction, that, from Raheem Sterling. And it was Herrera who caught him. Porto is one of the players getting ready to come on for the hosts with just over 20 or so minutes of normal time to go. I wish this game would just end now. It's one of those games where it's like it's gone into that mode of just like not being that eventful. The tempo is really slow. It's quite like Arsenal to get another goal here and finish it off, really, and just get rid of any stress that we might experience between now and the end of the game. Odegaard's free kick, left-footed, in towards the far post. Timber looked like he was having his shirt pulled. Sterling tries to bring it down out of the air. Did so well initially, but then couldn't find a teammate. I don't know why he just didn't take a shot, to be honest with you, but hey. Hacker says the screaming lady sounded like a baby billy goat just now. Screaming lady, is that in our very authentic crowd sounds package that is playing in the background? Is that where you got that from? Tsigankov and Martin are making way as Girona make another couple of changes. On come Porto and another familiar face, another Dutchman formerly of Manchester United, who's found his way to Girona somehow. Donny van der Beek. There you go. There's a couple of players that I didn't expect to see. Girona looking to build up from the back again. Juanpe's ball forward. Gabriel watched it all the way and then just calmly rolls it back to his goalkeeper. His launched ball forward is not one that Raheem Sterling is able to win, and Girona desperately trying to mount some kind of response of just giving the ball straight back to Arsenal, who have it with Neto now on the edge of the penalty area, who works it back to Gabriel. Skullseeker says, first Arsenal game I've missed in years, so checking out your stream to get my fix. Welcome, mate. I hope you're enjoying it. Sorry it's not an amazing game for me to be like really animated over. Just would be quite happy if the final whistle blew now, to be honest with you. Arsenal going to make a couple of changes. The first of which will see Leandro Trossard replaced by Kai Havertz. And the second will see Riccardo Calafiori off for Miles Lewis Skelly. So Mikel Arteta turning to his substitutes bench, looking to freshen things up a little bit. It's interesting, isn't it? Because like we talk a lot about resting players and the rotational stuff and all the rest of it. For me, sometimes I think that it's not even necessarily about a player being totally uninvolved. Sometimes it can be a case of just managing their minutes. Like Kai Havertz playing 20 minutes tonight is much better than him playing the full 90, essentially. He still had a bit of a rest. Sterling goes down in the box. Is that another penalty? No, it's a yellow card for Raheem Sterling for a dive. I'm not so sure about that. Raheem Sterling's reaction tells you that he is livid. I don't think it was a penalty. A bit like the first one. I don't think it was a penalty, but I don't think it was a dive either. We'll get another look at this in just a minute, I'm sure. Here we go. So Sterling, quick change of direction. It was Martinez with the clumsy challenge. Did Raheem Sterling anticipate a bit of contact that maybe didn't come? I think there was a little bit of contact on the foot, and that's what sent Raheem Sterling over. So I think he's unlucky to go into the book. It's not a penalty. I wouldn't give a penalty for it, to be clear, but I'm not booking him. I don't know how you can be that sure that he's dived there. Just setting up tomorrow morning's podcast with Mike Stavrou. Throwing at left back for Girona, which Francis will take. Big hello to Paul Robinson, who says first time on, a Welsh Gooner. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you in the live chat. Thank you for joining us. Really, really appreciate it, mate, and I hope you're enjoying the content. Jurian Timber charging forward, manages to force a corner kick. And have a quick peek at some of the scores elsewhere at the minute. It's one of those Cannon Talk says about that Raheem Sterling thing where he's tried to sell it. I think so too. Aston Villa 3-2 up against Celtic. Barcelona 1-1 with Atalanta now. Inter 3-0 up against Monaco. Juve still trailing to Benfica. What else have we got? PSG 4-0 up at Stuttgart. Arsenal corner, though, from the right-hand side. One area in towards the far post. This time, Gabriel Magalhaes heads it down into the ground, but it's wide of the near post. In the end, from the big Brazilian. He always gets on the end of it, just whether or not he can produce the finish. Couldn't quite manage it on that occasion. Here's Lewis Skelly. Havertz. Down the line, and he finds Raheem Sterling. He's got a bit of space to run at his man. Raheem Sterling makes his way into the box. Can he make room for the shot? He does, but it's such a tame effort. Such a tame effort from Raheem Sterling. Having done all of the hard work, he then drags this weak shot. And you can see what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to make the goalkeeper think he's going to go towards the far corner and then try and drag it inside, and it just doesn't come off for him. Just doesn't come off. For poor old Raheem Sterling, who's not had a great time, has he, since joining Arsenal, if we're being brutally honest about things. I think that's partly why everybody's so desperate to see an attacker come in as well. Like, you know, I think we all agree that we needed one going into the season anyway. But as the season's developed with sort of the Saka injury, the Odegaard injury earlier on in the campaign, and then the Gabby Jesus injury, which is going to keep him out for a long period of time. It's just becoming abundantly clear that if we've got one or two missing, our attack is significantly weaker, and that's why people want to see someone come in. I do think that want and that clamour for an attacker may have been less had Raheem Sterling come in and really made an impact, but he just hasn't. Like, that's the truth of it, guys. He just hasn't. But yeah. As it stands, Aston Villa just inside the top 8 on 16 points, just 3 points behind us, in fact. Manchester City would scrape into the playoff positions because they're currently leading Club Brugge, but one goal could really alter that for them and see them drop back outside of that. So they've got to be on red alert at the back, Pep Guardiola's side, for what remains of that game. Here it's Girona 1, Arsenal 2. Arnaut Danjuma's goal put the hosts in front before goals from Jorginho from the spot, and then Ethan Nwaneri turned this game on its head, and the Gunners are in front. Here's Kai Havertz just inside the opposition half. Had his shirt pulled there, but play continues as Odegaard plays a first-time pass into Ethan Nwaneri, turns and dribbles towards the Girona penalty area. Lovely bit of skill, great body strength as well. Havertz on the outside of him, receives the ball, is inside the box. Kai Havertz, can he tee up Mikel Merino? He tried to, but it just didn't come off. Arsenal have it again with Kivior, who finds Timber on halfway. I think Manchester City have got another one, judging by some of the reaction in the live comments, which means they will be going through. Look, if I'm being honest, I expected them to go through. I didn't think they would crash out at the hands of Club Brugge this evening. I mean, maybe I believed a little bit when they went 1-0 down, but it was never really on the cards, I don't think. Jorginho into Odegaard. Yep, confirmation of that goal. Savinho, the man they plucked from Girona, incidentally. Not scored as many goals as he was expected to when he arrived at the Etihad, but just signs recently that he's starting to get into his groove. Here's Donny van der Beek on the charge forward for Girona, works it out to the right-hand side. That's a low ball across the face of goal, and Girona have equalised. Arsenal switch off at the far post. It's really, really poor defending. And the Spaniards are back on level terms. It's Stuani with the goal, I think. Yep, Stuani it is. Van der Beek came forward down the right-hand side. Is there a question of an offside? Maybe. There's a low delivery in towards the far post. There was no offside with that. Jakub Kivior, the man beaten to it at the far post. Stuani from close range turns it in, and Girona are back on level terms. I'm sure they're going to look at that potential offside. And there you go. The goal review has been completed. And the goal is ruled out for an offside. Arsenal bloody get away with that. Arsenal bloody get away with that. That was terrible defending. But fortunately for us, I think it was Porto on the near side. It just gone a little bit early. And when he was played in by Donny van der Beek, he was in a slightly offside position. Look how quick, by the way, the semi-automated offside is in terms of picking that up, though. And you're going to get an image in a minute that's going to confirm that, which I think is brilliant. How the Premier League do not have this is beyond me. It is beyond me. Don't tell me that we can't do it. Don't tell me that we don't have the technology or the money or the resources. Simply don't want it. That's what it is. What a load of bloody nonsense. Big hello to Nenko, who says, commenting from a professor. Nice one, mate. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to everyone who's joining us at the moment. Mario Romano says, why are we not using that? I've got no idea, mate. I've got no idea. They keep delaying it. It's almost as if they don't want to get things right. That's a yellow card shown to Porto. I don't think his attitude is going to do him any favours in the eyes of the referee either. He went down under a challenge from Martin Odegaard. He obviously wanted a free kick, and he went crazy about the fact that he didn't get it. Crazy. He's landed himself in a bit of trouble. 79 minutes played. Girona 1, Arsenal 2, although just a moment or so ago we thought that the score was all level. Flag didn't go up, but the VAR stepped in to rule Stuani, the substitute's goal, out. Here come Girona again. They're not done here, you know. Arsenal need to wrestle back control of this game because there's just signs in the last few minutes that we've switched off a little bit. Arnaut Danjuma. They're forced back to around about halfway. Arsenal have pretty much everybody, in fact, definitely everybody behind the ball at this stage. Is it a little bit early to start camping out defensively, or can Arsenal do something off the bench to maybe just freshen it up a little bit in attack, and as a result have more of the ball down the other end of the pitch, the end of the pitch where we actually want to have it? Going into the last 10 minutes now. Here's Big Gabby at the back. Jorginho into Mikel Merino. Here's Miles Lewis-Skelly. Gabriel once again. Jorginho sitting in between the two Arsenal centre-halves at the moment, looking to dictate play, pull the strings. Big thank you to Raphael Lim, who is watching us from Singapore. It's 5:38 a.m. over there. Wow. That is commitment, mate. That is commitment. Thank you so much. Arsenal preparing to make another change, I think, in a bid to try and stabilise and keep a hold of what we have. Jorginho's making way. One of Arsenal's goal scorers this evening, being urged to make his way off quite quickly by the official. I'm not sure that Jorginho is necessarily going to take that bit of direction from the man in the middle, but he slowly makes his way off the side of the pitch, and he's going to be replaced by Declan Rice. So Rice on for the Gunners, who are looking to close this game out and secure their place in the top 8 of the UEFA Champions League phase. Here's Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side. Fouled. Yep, fouled by Herrera. Wow, massive thank you to Mario for your very, very kind donation, mate. Like, thank you so much. If you've made a mistake and put too much there, please let me know and I'll send it back to you. Honestly, like, I always get a bit like, yeah, when people put like high value super chats or super stickers, I'm always a bit like, I almost feel bad. So if it was an error or anything, please let me know. And I'll get it back to you. If it wasn't, then thank you so much. I really do appreciate that, mate. Your support is incredible. Always with kind words, and always here supporting. So really do appreciate it. But Arsenal in a bit of trouble here. Danjuma on the charge, makes his way into the box, and Declan Rice had to help us Wow. Mario says, no, it's all good, man. You're a great guy, and this has been awesome. Thank you so much, mate. Really, really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. Thank you to John as well for your kind words. Here is Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz's shot stings the palms of Lopez in the Girona goal. And they'll look to play their way out from the back, as they always seem to do. It just signs that Arsenal aren't quite spent as an attacking force just yet. Here's Porto, the substitute, who thought he'd set up the equalising goal before the VAR stepped in and very quickly, very swiftly, unlike what we get in the Premier League, managed to come to the correct decision and rule that out. Big hello to Deflected Mind, who joins us from India, 3 a.m. in India. Wow. I tip my hat to you guys that have to stay up and watch Arsenal at these bloody ungodly hours. It must be really, really difficult, especially when you got like lives around it as well, like jobs and kids and families and all the rest of it. So I'm always in awe of how dedicated you guys are. Here come Girona again down the left-hand side. That's a left foot across towards the far post. Did it take a deflection on its way through? They're appealing for a shirt pull. The referee not interested whatsoever. Despite the Girona protests, the man in the middle is having none of it. It was well worked down the left-hand side. It was Francis's left-footed cross. Was there a bit of a shirt pull on Stuani from Miles Lewis-Skelly? I mean, he does have a little bit of his shirt in his hand at one stage, but I think he lets go just in time. Not enough for a penalty to be awarded. The referee has allowed the VAR to have a look at it as well, giving him that bit of time before restarting the game. And Arsenal have it at the back with Neto. We're going into the last sort of 5 or so minutes of this one. Matt says, really disappointed with Sterling. Was hoping to see something from him today. You and me both. We just haven't seen it. That's another yellow card. Who's that been shown to? I'll just bring you confirmation of that in a second. It's not an Arsenal player, so don't worry about it too much. But it's for a foul on Mikel Merino for Martinez. Nenko says, thanks for the watch along. Can you summarize Sterling's performance today? It's been pretty underwhelming, to be honest. Like, there's been a few moments where he's shown some sharpness and that ability to kind of turn and spin away from people, the type of which we saw so often in the early stages of his career. But outside of that, it's been pretty lackluster. But there's a lot of players that I would say haven't really been great tonight. They've just about done enough to get us through this game, at least so far. And, I guess the comparison will be to his opposite number on the other flank, which is Ethan Nwaneri, who's made a really telling contribution and is probably going to prove to be the match winner. And so when you make that comparison, and it's fair to say that Raheem Sterling's looked really, really poor. Hacker says he looks like he's nursing himself into old age. I don't know what it is, man. It's like he's had the confidence zapped out of him. It's not the same player I was watching for all those years. Cannon Talk says, big up to all the international fans. Great dedication. Absolutely. Ethan Nwaneri is going to make way, and he's going to be replaced by Gabriel Martinelli. So Arsenal just making one more change. Martinelli will go out onto that right-hand side, you have to assume. Havertz, Rice, Merino gets a toe in. Odegaard goes down under a challenge. A couple of Cummings together there. And then the ball is worked out to the left-hand side by Girona for Francis, the fullback. We've got someone watching from Limassol with a nice Kio beer. Oh, man. Nothing better. Roy says, thanks for the watch along. You are most welcome. Thank you for joining me. Martinelli trying to take it away and turn on the burners to maybe relieve Arsenal a little bit, who are having to sit just that little bit deeper than I'm sure they'd like at this moment in time. Girona enjoying a spell of possession. Was there a flailing arm there from Raheem Sterling? Francis has gone down. Raheem Sterling's got to be careful because he's gone into the book for diving earlier on, and he's just had a few moments where he's sort of become a little bit frustrated, and I hope that he doesn't allow himself to get caught in the trap. And that's a header towards Neto's goal, and Neto dives down to the left and makes the save. Girona fashioning a pretty decent opportunity there, but not able to make the most of it in the end. Here's Odegaard deep in the Arsenal midfield. Gabriel out to the left for Mikel Merino, just lets it run across his body and then sends it down that left-hand channel. Martinelli will get onto the end of it. Martinelli makes his way into the Girona penalty area, cuts inside onto the right foot. Martinelli's shot blocked. The ball will roll slowly out of play for an Arsenal corner in the 89th minute. Martinelli doing pretty much everything right there, apart from squeezing his shot through the crowd of defenders. It was Martinez, I think, who made the block there. Just another look at that incident involving Raheem Sterling. Nothing really in that. And this is the save that Neto had to make just a moment or so ago. Arsenal corner on 89 minutes. Declan Rice, whose deliveries are normally so reliable, is about to whip this in, right-footed. In it goes. Gabriel doesn't get there. Breaks to the edge of the box where Raheem Sterling will pick it up. He just cushions it back to Odegaard, who was some 10 or so yards deeper. Back out to the left for Declan Rice. Low ball into the box. Comes off the heels of the defender. And it'll be another Arsenal corner. Arnel Martinez has been in the wars this evening for Girona. Matt Tomo says, I love the decisiveness, aggressiveness from Martinelli. He's just a bit more direct, isn't he? And that's at times what you need, especially when a game's stretched like this, when an opposition is trying to take the game to you in search of an equaliser. You need those direct players, essentially, to exploit the spaces that they are leaving. Referee just having a word with Big Gabby, who's once again jostling for position around about the penalty spot, which is kind of his thing from these types of set-piece situations. Rice whips it into the box. It's right underneath the crossbar. And Lopez, the goalkeeper, had to jump high and with two hands just pat it over the top of his own crossbar from fear of where that might have ended up. There are 5 minutes added at the end of this game. I think that's a bit excessive. It's been a fair few substitutions, but I still don't think we need 5 minutes. But hey, it is what it is. Declan Rice's ball in towards the far post, and it might have fallen for Jakub Kiwior, but Lopez on hand to make sure that wasn't going to be the case. Arsenal have it back and are attacking again with Miles Lewis-Skelly. Martinelli's on the outside of him. Gabriel Martinelli, left-footed ball. Havertz throws himself at it. It comes to Raheem Sterling. Thought about the shot. Took way too many touches. Appeals for a handball. That's a blatant handball. And the referee instantly points for the penalty spot. The defender could have no complaints. Now, I was unsure about whether or not Arsenal deserved the penalty kick that they got in the first half. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. This is literally as stonewall as they come. It was Francis, the fullback. The ball came off of Raheem Sterling's knee, and it was almost as if it was the instinct of Francis to just stick out his right hand and handle the ball. It's crazy. It's like he's playing pat ball. It's madness. Arsenal have another spot kick and the opportunity to put this game to bed. Francis is standing there shaking his head as if he's been hard done by the officials. That is as blatant a handball as you'll ever see. At the moment, Raheem Sterling's got the ball in his hand. Is he going to pass it over to Martin Odegaard at the last minute? We often see Arsenal do this. Well, he's placing the ball down on the spot himself, Raheem Sterling. He's going to take it. I know Odegaard missed one recently, but he was, along with Bukayo Saka, our penalty taker. And tonight we've had two penalties. He's been on the pitch no Bukayo Saka, and he's not taken any of them. Jorginho took the first one, and Raheem Sterling is taking this one. I think that's really, really interesting. There's a yellow card been shown as well. I think perhaps to Declan Rice. Not sure what exactly for. Raheem Sterling, who's in desperate need of a goal. He needs something, Raheem Sterling. Is that why his teammates have opted to let him take it? He well bloody score it. Raheem Sterling steps up right-footed and it's saved by the goalkeeper. It's such a bad penalty from Raheem Sterling. It's terrible. Lopez gets across. There's no power in it. He's gone for the bottom right-hand corner. He's lifted it off of the ground just ever so slightly, which gives the goalkeeper the chance to make a really, really comfortable save. And he does exactly that. We talk about Raheem Sterling needing it. This will do his confidence even more damage, in my opinion. It's a really poor spot kick. It can happen to anyone. Martin Odegaard missed one not so long ago. But that is dreadful from Raheem Sterling. If you're going to take it off the captain, you better go and put it away. And he hasn't done that. Odegaard's corner into the box. Marino rising. But the header down into the ground is a tame one. And Lopez manages to gather. But he's thrown it straight to Martin Odegaard. Kai Havertz helps him out. And between the two of them, they've won the ball nice and high up for the Gunners. Havertz across the penalty area. Marino shot, left-footed low drive, takes a ricochet and goes behind for a corner kick. I'm really confident that Arsenal are going to see this out because we've had 4 of the 5 minutes of stoppage time. The Gunners are with an attacking corner right now, and I'm sure, if they want to, they can run the clock down. But going back to that Raheem Sterling penalty, it's just so bad. It's so tame. It's so poor. Really, really poor. I think just confirmation. I said I thought Declan Rice got a booking. I think it was he did get a booking. That's just been confirmed. But Stuani got one at the same time as well. Odegaard's ball down the left-hand side for Martinelli after Arsenal take the corner kick short. Martinelli's delivery dealt with, and Porto will look to carry it forward for Girona. That's a really great recovery, though, from Miles Lewis-Skelly. And it's Arsenal with the attacking impetus at the moment, despite Girona being the ones chasing that equalising goal. Miles Lewis-Skelly on the left-hand side. Lovely bit of control, and then he's fouled. And Arsenal have a free kick just to the left of the box. But we had the 5 minutes so far. I know there was a penalty during that, which has obviously eaten into that time a little bit. So we've probably still got a little bit longer to play. But yeah, I mean, for those... And there's a lot of people out there, myself included, that are unconvinced by Raheem Sterling and are adamant that this signing has failed, unfortunately. This will not help, right? You take the penalty kick off of your captain, as I say. You've got to put it in the back of the net, and he's not been able to do that. Arsenal take the free kick short, and Kai Havertz will go in towards the corner flag with it. Was he fouled? No, he wasn't. He wasn't. But it doesn't matter because the full-time whistle has gone and Arsenal have beaten Girona by 2-1, which means the Gunners secure their place in third in this Champions League phase. Liverpool finished top, assuming the scores don't change between now and the conclusion of all those other games. Liverpool top, Barcelona second, Arsenal in third, level on points with the Catalan Giants, but with a slightly lesser goal difference. Goals tonight from Jorginho and Ethan Nwaneri ensured the Arsenal wrapped up all 3 points after Arnaut Danjuma put Girona in front. So really pleased for both those players, Jorginho and Ethan Nwaneri especially, who I thought had another really, really good game. For a young man making his way, he's just really super impressive, isn't he? Thank you so much to every single one of you that joined me on this watch-along. I've really, really enjoyed it. It's been great fun. It wasn't the greatest game, unfortunately. There wasn't that many contentious discussions to be had or major talking points. But hey, we got through it all together. Thank you so much. Been streaming for, 2 hours and 15 minutes. But remember, we did like a half an hour-ish stream before this as well, where we were talking about Ollie Watkins. So it's been a long night. It's quite tiring talking to yourself for all that time. So I'm going to love you and leave you all, and we can review the Champions League table we can reflect on Arsenal's Champions League campaign on the whole and bring you some reaction to this game on tomorrow morning's podcast, where I'll be joined by Mike Stavru. So make sure you join us for that one. It should be out at around about 10:30, 11 a.m. there or thereabouts. Come and join us for that, and I will see you all then. Cheers for all the support. Cheers for all the love, for all the amazing comments. If you haven't done so already, please leave a like on the video. All of that stuff really, really does help. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the Chronicles of a Gooner on all major podcast platforms as well. And I will see you all soon. Until the next one, take care of yourselves and have a great evening, day, tomorrow, depending on what time it is, wherever it is that you're joining us from. All the best. Have a good one. Great being with you tonight. Thank you. Goodbye.